Hey, it's Mike with Rather Dashing Games. Our next game, ALDR the High Sage, is coming out at the end of January, so I thought I'd do a quick unboxing video. I started the unboxing already and took the shrink wrap off and all the plastic and then realized I didn't have the camera on, so you get to miss the fun plastic removal. But let's jump in here. So, first thing to say is we were really happy about how the quality of this game came out. So the components are really top notch. Got the rules, we'll get to the rules in a bit. Got some nice big oversized cards in a Ziploc bag. These function as your player mats, and also this one is the start card, right? What you'll start building this game off of. We have the main deck of cards. These cards are, now from what you can obviously tell, this game is, even says on the cover, this game is set in the Element universe. And while it is set in the Element universe, it is its own game. It's completely standalone. You don't need to know a thing about Element to play it. But if you do know something about Element, if you have Element, there are components in here that allow you to use as a small expansion in the Element game itself. Gives you another version of advanced play. So that's going to be great for all of our Element fans. Element's been ridiculously successful for us, and it continues to be so. And now you've got something else to play with. One of probably the coolest piece in here is ALDR himself. This guy's a little bit taller than the sages found in Element. He's the key piece, using it as an expansion, but he also plays a crucial role in this game itself. So in the game, you are going to, I showed you that start card earlier, that one. So this goes down on the table, and we draft cards, these different cards, the different elemental elements on them. And what we're trying to do is build these 4 elemental patterns. Now this is done by placing out these cards, building this almost like a domino style, but you can put cards on top of other cards with different rules. Rule of replacement, water can replace fire, things like that. And you're trying to build these patterns before your opponents do. Each time you build a pattern, you take one of your pawns. These are a little oversized, but they're really just basically wooden pawns. They function as your sages. And these will go down on the cards, and it's important where you put it because it locks those cards into place, and your opponents can't replace them, and they can't place over them. Also on your turn, to further mess with your opponents, after you take your turn, you play 2 cards, or draft 2 cards and play 2 cards. You would then move ALDR somewhere on this play area. Now there's some limitations about where he can and cannot go, so you really have to think it through how best to thwart your opponents. Games are relatively quick, usually about, I'd say, 20 minutes or so. It's like a lot of Rather Dashing games. They're relatively easy to learn, but there's a lot of layers of strategy that add on the more and more you play. So take a look at this rule book. It's a relatively simple game. It's pattern matching, pattern building, but you really do have to outthink your opponents. And right here, there's kind of a better visual representation of a game mid-play. And then also, as promised, here's rules to include ALDR as an expansion to Element. So we're very excited about this. It's going to retail for $29.99 US, and it should be available at your friendly local game stores, which we always invite you to support. You can go, if they don't have it in stock, you can go and request that they order a copy for you. In fact, we really hope you do that. But failing all else, you can always order it on our website, ratherdashinggames.com, and that will be available, and I'm looking at my whiteboard over there. It will be available the 27th of January. So probably do a more in-depth walkthrough later, kind of show you how it plays and how it's set up, but I wanted to give you all first look at it. So that's ALDR the High Sage. Thank you very much, and as always, stay dashing.